Yo, YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy Tonio from Tonio Knows Boxing here, and today I'm gonna break down the Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson fight. I know it's been a long time since you guys have seen me. I think Shakur's last fight was the last time you guys seen me, but I've been around the boxing game. I've been watching all the boxing events that have been going on. I just haven't been making videos, man, but I'm gonna be here for the near future. I know I say that all the time, but we got some big fights, Barrios, Garcia, and things of that nature. So I'll be here giving breakdowns, man. I know you guys missed the breakdown, so here I am. I'm gonna give you a breakdown for this Teofimo Shakur fight. This is a big fight, man. This is a fight I've been waiting on. Shakur Stevenson, who I rate highly, and Teofimo Lopez, who I rate highly as well, are getting in the ring together, man. Teofimo beat Vasily Lomachenko early on in his career and kind of stamped him. He was a part of the Four Kings. Shakur wasn't a part of the Four Kings originally, but they put him in and now replacing Ryan Garcia. This is an action-packed 50-50 fight, man. This is a fight that everybody's been waiting on, especially since it's been announced as a sellout crowd in Madison Square Garden, the mecca of boxing. It's an exciting night of boxing, man. I hope you guys are tuning in on DAZN or going to the fight. But yeah, let's get into this breakdown, man. We're gonna start with Teofimo Lopez and the things I noticed in his fights. Now, when I break down these fights, I'm not just going off of like what I thought. Like, I'm actually giving you guys breakdowns from going back and watching their fights. Like, I'm not giving you guys these breakdowns without going back and watching 2 or 3 fights. I watched a million Shakur fights. I can tell you how he fights, his style and everything, but I'm always gonna go back and watch 2 or 3 fights before I give you guys this breakdown. So with Teofimo Lopez, right, he has a quick jab. He's super sharp, super athletic, man, and that's one of the keys I think he has to use over Shakur Stevenson. Use your athleticism, man. Use your athleticism. I'm gonna have some clips rolling of certain things I'm talking about throughout the video if it doesn't get copyrighted. If not, then you won't be seeing it. But Teo switches between guards, right? Teo's a very awkward fighter. He'll do a lot of certain little things in the ring. He'll play around, dance a little bit. Like, he's a showman. That's what he is. He's a showman. So he'll switch between. He'll have this little cross guard that he used to do back in the day. He has a little Philly shell. It ain't really a Philly shell, but it's a little bitty Philly. He does that a little bit. And one thing is for certain though, he always has his left hand dangling below his knee. That is something that Shakur Stevenson can take advantage of. That left hand not being up, man. That left hand not being up will be crucial, right? But with Teofimo, he's a natural counterpuncher, right? One thing I noticed with Barboza, his last fight, anytime that Barboza would like to throw jabs with no purpose. He would jab with no purpose, and anytime he did that, Teofimo would counter with a right hand over the top. Every time. If you throw a lazy jab, Teofimo's gonna counter, right? So that's why Shakur, he has to have a sharp, nice, crisp jab like he had against Josh Padley, because if not, he's gonna get countered with right hands over the top all night long, right? And one thing I noticed again was his stab jab to the body, right? He likes to stab to the body. Against Barboza, he was stabbing with the left hand. Against Sandor Martin and Jermaine Ortiz and these other southpaws, he was stabbing with the right hand, right? He would paw his left hand out and then he would stab with the right hand when cutting off the ring. And I think that'll be open for him all night against Shakur Stevenson. I'm gonna roll some clips of Zepeda doing it. I know Zepeda's a southpaw, but he was landing some shots to the body against Shakur Stevenson. So I think Teofimo Lopez needs to take advantage of that, right? Teo is a better fighter going backwards than he is forward. I know Teofimo Lopez was known for his power back at 135, right? But ever since he got to 140, I think he only has one stoppage, and that's against Pedro Campa. And that was like a fight he was set up to win, right? He couldn't stop Josh Taylor. He couldn't stop Jermaine Ortiz, Barboza. His power hasn't seemed to be there at 140. So I think he's a better fighter going backwards than he is forward. When he has to chase you going forward, I think that's when you get your fights like Sandor Martin. You get your fights like Jermaine Ortiz, and he starts struggling and almost losing these fights, right? So people think, Teo has the power advantage, and which he probably does in this fight, but I don't think he's a knockout artist like he used to be at the lower weight classes. So that's one thing people don't realize. If Teo tries to come forward and put the pressure on Shakur, I think Shakur can pick him apart. One thing with Teofimo Lopez that he cannot do which he does a lot. So I know he's gonna do it. And this is how I see that fight going, man. Like, Teo loves to lunge in, and when he lunges in, it's so predictable. He leaves his feet all the time. Leaving your feet in boxing is a big no-no. Big no-no. Especially with a sharp counterpuncher, defensively responsible Shakur Stevenson. He cannot lunge in like he did. I'm going to play some clips again against Sandor Martin, who is a pure boxer, but not as good of a boxer as Shakur Stevenson, right? He cannot lunge in like that. He's going to get caught with this same shot. And I'm going to show you guys some clips of Shakur Stevenson catching his opponents with the shot I think he'll catch Teofimo Lopez with. It's the same shot Sandor Martin caught him with. That check right hook, baby. So, that check right hook of Shakur Stevenson, right? Sandor Martin dropped Teofimo Lopez with a check right hook, right? And it wasn't like a powerful shot, right? It was just a grazing shot, right? It barely even landed, right? But it was enough because Teofimo Lopez was off balance. Teofimo Lopez has to make sure he's on balance for this fight. He has to stay with his feet, right? In round 10, round 11, if you got the fight figured out, then you can start being the showman, right? But in the early rounds, he really needs to be sharp, being on point, making sure he's defensively responsible while stabbing Shakur to the body, keeping a jab in his face, being responsible. He has to be responsible before he can be a showman. And that's exactly what I think is not going to happen. I don't think Teofimo Lopez is going to do that. I think Teofimo Lopez is going to want to put on the show. He's going to, he did all the antics leading up to the fight. I think he's going to do some of that in the fight. And I think that's going to be his demise, right? And another thing with Teofimo Lopez is his father, man. His father is his lead trainer. And he didn't show up to the press conference. They say he was drunk, throwing up, whatever, right? But Teofimo Lopez has also been working with another trainer. And if you look at Teofimo's fights, right? Teo Sr. kind of gives the same advice. The guy's too slow for him. Come on, bro, get him out of here already. Like, it's the same thing. It's never really any good, solid advice. Against a guy like Shakur Stevenson, where you're going to need to make adjustments and things of that nature, I don't think Teo's team is ready for that, right? So, Teofimo Lopez, pros, right? Like I said, he's quick, he's sharp, he's got a nice jab. And he's going to have to use all of that against Shakur Stevenson. This is not an easy fight by no means for Teofimo Lopez. If you look, he's the odds-on, or Shakur's the odds-on favorite, right? He is the underdog in this fight. And you're thinking, like, I beat Lomachenko, I'm the 140-pound champion, he's coming up my weight class. You would think I'm the favorite, right? Or at least it's 50-50 or closer than what it is. But Teofimo is the underdog, and I think the odds makers got this right. I think they got this right? It's a 50-50 fight. In my mind, it's like 51-49, 52-48, which is basically 50-50. So, Teofimo Lopez really has to do some work. We have to see the best version of Teofimo Lopez. We can't see the Teofimo that fought Barboza because he beat Barboza on just athleticism, right? We can't see the Teofimo Lopez that fought Sandor Martin. We can't see the Teofimo Lopez that fought Jermaine Ortiz. We can't even see the Teofimo Lopez that fought Vasily Lomachenko. We're going to have to see another level of Teofimo Lopez. Can he do it? I believe Teofimo can. I believe Teofimo is one of the best fighters in the world. And when you are one of the best fighters in the world, you can make adjustments like that. But against a guy like Shakur Stevenson, I don't know if he can. Now, with Shakur Stevenson, right? The couple fights that I watched of Shakur Stevenson, I watched the Yoshino fight, I watched the De Los Santos fight, and a little bit of the Zepeda fight, right? And when I was watching the fights, I was comparing them to the fights I watched of Teofimo. I watched Sandor Martin. I watched Jermaine Ortiz. I watched a little bit of the Kambosos fight. And I watched the Barboza fight, right? And what was glaring to me was how he leaves his feet. That is the big thing. Teofimo leaves his feet and lunges in. And Sandor Martin was catching him with the same shot. So I went back and looking at Shakur fights against Yoshino, right? We all know Shakur loves to control distance and establish his jab and establish his outside position, right? He's not a high volume puncher, but he's surgical, right? Extremely accurate, right? But that check right hook, man. I'm going to show you the clips against Yoshino. Check right hook, right? And the reason I watched the Edwin De Los Santos fight back, and I know you guys are never going to watch that fight again, right? And trust me, I get it. It wasn't the more entertaining fight, right? But De Los Santos gave Shakur trouble. What was De Los Santos? Extremely athletic. What is Teofimo Lopez? Extremely athletic. So I went back and watched that fight and seen how Shakur beat him, right? And Shakur beat De Los Santos kind of almost the same way that Teo beat Barboza. Just Teo had two hands, right? And was applying more damage to Barboza than Shakur did De Los Santos. They beat him off their IQ and just knowing the game of boxing, right? Shakur was check right hooking De Los Santos all night. It was a sharp right jab and a check right hook. That's all that he did against De Los Santos. And I really feel like if he had both hands in that fight, the fight would look a little different. He has both hands against Teofimo Lopez. He said he found a remedy, right? So against Teofimo Lopez, I expect the output to be turned up. I expect check right hooks all night long. I expect him to apply some pressure. And I really feel like this is going to be an entertaining fight for the fans. They're going to leave with their money's worth, man. So just to give my prediction for the fight, I broke down both fighters a little bit. I'm going to give you my prediction for the fight. I got Shakur Stevenson winning a unanimous decision against Teofimo Lopez. I can see this fight being 8-4, 9-3, 7-5. That's what I feel like the judges are going to have. I think it's going to be 8-4 on my books, but I think a judge is going to have it 7-5 and the judge is going to have it 9-3. And I think it'll be fairly easy for Shakur Stevenson. And now you're probably thinking, well, you said it was 50-50. Yes, it's a 50-50 fight. And if Shakur Stevenson isn't at his best, Teofimo Lopez can easily win this fight. But I think Shakur Stevenson has been waiting on this moment. And I think he has the tools to beat Teofimo Lopez. I think he has the style to beat Teofimo Lopez. People have always said Teofimo Lopez struggles with boxers. Look at Sandor Martin. Look at Jermaine Ortiz. Shakur Stevenson is the best pure boxer in the world, right? And don't be surprised if Shakur Stevenson lands one of those check right hooks and drops Teofimo Lopez. I'm not saying he's going to hurt him, but I think he can drop him, right? And what if Shakur Stevenson lands a shot on Teofimo Lopez and starts stepping to him, and there's a bad cut and the refs have to stop the fight? Don't be surprised if you see that either. Now, vice versa. What if Teofimo Lopez lands a big shot on Shakur Stevenson? People said that Zepeda hurt Shakur in the third round with a jab. What if Teofimo Lopez lands a shot like that? Can the ref stop the fight with Shakur Stevenson? It's going to be a good fight, you guys. It's going to be a really good fight. I advise you guys to tune in. My prediction is Shakur Stevenson by a dominant unanimous decision. I think it's going to be a good fight for you guys. And I think Shakur Stevenson is going to get the respect he deserves after this fight. But what I want to say is, for both guys, either way, do not trash the other. If Shakur beats Teofimo Lopez is not a trash fighter. He's not overrated. If Teofimo Lopez beats Shakur Stevenson, he's not a trash fighter and he's not overrated either. These are two of the best, and one guy has to win. One guy has to be victorious unless it's a draw. But these are two of the best fighters in the world making a fight for you guys, the fans, because that's what the fans want to see. So don't go online trashing both of these fighters, man, because we'll never see the best fighting the best again. But yeah, like I said, I think Shakur Stevenson pulls this one out. Check right hooks will be money all day because Teofimo Lopez likes to lunge in and get caught with shots. And I think Shakur Stevenson, with his IQ and his mind, I think he'll catch him all day long. You guys let me know down below who you guys think will win this fight. Of course, I'll be rooting for Shakur Stevenson. I'm knowing a lot of you guys are rooting for Teofimo Lopez. Either way, I hope it's a great fight, and I hope everybody's satisfied and got their money's worth. Tune in because I will be doing Barrios Garcia. I will do a bunch of fights in February, and 2026 is going to be our year. I have another idea planned that's not a boxing breakdown that I hope you guys will like. So yeah, guys, just like, comment, subscribe. Let me know who you think is going to win it down in the comments below. Until then, Tonio Knows Boxing. We out.